I think it's recording. So, hi. We're gonna do a reading, okay? But, I'm gonna take a quick break before we start. I gotta get stuff ready. I wanted to pop in front of the camera and say hi. I do not have a new camera yet, so this is the back or front facing of my phone. So if it's blurry, I apologize. But, you're gonna be looking at the cards, not at me. I just wanted to say hi. Thank you. Okay, we're back. I got 3 new tarot decks, and I think you're really gonna like them. One of them is, where is it? Oh, it's reversed for you, I think. It's called The Magic of You Oracle by Fiona Horne. And I had this deck a long time ago, but I never got to use it, so I bought it again. And this one, Dark Mirror, yo, this one is crazy. And I mean that in the best way. So, I've been really nervous to do this reading today, and I don't know why. It feels like there's really, I don't want to say important, but like official. It feels like official people are watching, and I don't know about it, or they think I don't know about it, but I'm picking up on something. Anyway, okay, so take a deep breath and think of just slow quietness, whatever that means to you. Just slow down, because there's a lot of, it's like the tips of my fingers are in a bubble of anxiety, but the rest of me is calm. It's very strange. And I've been meditating all day. So I don't want you to be asking, I'm asking you to not be asking about like a love situation or like any humanish issue. I'm asking you to be open to your source and your guides, your ancestors, and your shadow self. We're going to get a little deep with this one. We're going to look at things you don't want to look at. I've realized in the last week, the more people attempt to meddle in each other's lives, the more both their lives are meddled in. Things just go off course. And it seems to be a distraction from something internal that you're avoiding acknowledging. And if you look at the entire universe and all life that has ever lived anywhere, if all of them in some way ran from a truth that they didn't want to admit, what kind of truth would that be? If it's the common thread between all life. It really feels like there's an energy of avoidance and neglect, like purposefully neglecting a topic inside you that you know you should be dealing with by now. Give me a second. Okay. Take a deep breath have only the intention to gain clarity and your intuition. Trust your intuition. I'm hoping you have a pen and paper ready so you can write down the thoughts that come into your mind when you're reading this that seem important to you. And remember that there's more than one person watching this video. So your spirit guides, your source, might be speaking to you through word association that only you would comprehend. So just be still and listen, okay, to yourself. The bottom of the deck is Gilded Regret. And the card that came out is Parasite. Now, the first thing I'm seeing with this is someone staring at a TV screen so much one of their eyes turns into the TV screen and can only see the theater. They can't see what's happening in front of them, even if, like, I mean, if we're going to use a biblical expression, even if Jesus or a Messiah or God himself, you know, the goddess herself, whichever, came down in front of everybody and was like, hey, I'm here, you can all stop fighting, they wouldn't see it. The reality they see is a sliver, just a sliver of light. It's like the dark is not even the dark, it's ignorance. Because they're avoiding a part of something that they feel regretful over. So in order to avoid the truth of that situation, they've been allowing parasitic connections to alter the way they view life. A 1 + 9 goes to a 10, which goes to a 1, which is your alignment with your own source. You see how on the side there's this like red, passionate, like plant blooming, but on this side there's like a distinct color variation in that eye line. What's being seen isn't really what's there, and the other eye is closed due to the Gilded Regret. The Gilded Regret card has the opposite. I don't want to look at the card below that, and I don't want to keep getting more into this for now. I'm going to pull some other decks. You see how the moon right there is the opposite end of this. In between is missing the mother phase, maiden mother crone. So some aspect of you there's so much information coming through. Hold on. It's like a I'm seeing a tub being filled with hot water, and someone not paying attention to how hot the water is, because they've only had one tap, like the thing open to one side, and they were just rushing and moving forward, not paying attention with this like masculine mindset. And they didn't, like when they got in the water, it's like they kind of burn themselves real quick and then adjust the temperature to bring a balance of the red and blue, the hot and cold. See? And over here it's kind of like distorted, because you're missing that motherly energy towards yourself. It's like I'm seeing a child yell at its mother while it's like a toddler And it has like full consciousness in the body, and nobody comprehends it. For so many years it starts diminishing its own capacity to exist as itself, and over time it starts building this like resentment and regret at itself for diminishing itself over the years and allowing itself to be drained by those around it and the things it believes and the people it helps, and all the self-sacrifice and martyr type of mentality. For so long, like, it fed those energies instead of feeding its own magnificence and consciousness, and instead of fitting in, being itself. That regret goes all the way back to the maiden phase of when you were with your crone and you weren't listened to. They didn't take you seriously. So you started to not take yourself seriously and conform to what you were being shown with the left-hand path, with the path of do what you will, and not really. It's like two football teams, and they're both doing their thing to get to their evolution. But if you're rooting for one team, you're missing the story of the other one completely. And if you're rooting for both, your past and your future, you're the maiden version of you and crumb. And you realize that right now, where you are, it would really benefit you to allow more femininity in your life. And I don't mean, any version of what you have in mind of a female. I mean the concept itself of the feminine energy, the mother. Find that in yourself. Don't let what you're seeing and what you're involved with muddle the clarity of water of what you knew when you were a baby. You came in here with full consciousness, and you dumbed yourself down throughout the years that you don't see the phase of life you're in now, because the person you had to become was parasiting off of the person you really were. Three of Swords and Knight of Wands. Look at how pretty these are. And I show you the Three of Swords, like, yeah, that's pretty. That's not pretty. Those need to go. That's the pain and regret. This could also be someone in your life that has a negative energy attachment to you. Someone you had intimate contact with, that you were really, really in love with, and they betrayed you somehow. This could be it's almost like the dark to your light. Someone manipulating you to get your energy to them, but they run off faster than a fox does. The moment they get what they want, they're gone. But every time they come back pretending they're, amazing and high and mighty, and that they've learned and they love you and you're so beautiful and this and that. It's like an energy vampire that comes once in a while and collects from you. This could also be completely energetic with a thought form that you've created for yourself that's been parasiting out of you, or someone sending ill intent towards you to drain your energy. If it's just about you, because what I'm seeing, it's like someone's in a dark room and there's just enough light to where you can see people walking around, and they're all sad looking, and they're just wandering. But the person's point of view that I'm seeing it from, that darkness that they perceive is put there purposely. It's not natural, it's not yours. Someone or something, some form of energy has been it's like adding coffee creamer to black coffee, but instead it's black coffee creamer to white coffee. The bottom of the deck was 10 of Pentacles. I'm going to show you every card because various reasons, but look at this. You are so protected by so many different forms of life and energies, but this one parasitic aspect you have to deal with yourself, because it's a connection within you that you don't seem to let go of. It's like you're punishing yourself and someone else, because if we look at the court card of the night as an individual other than yourself in the situation that contributed to this parasitic painful energy, then it's someone you know. You really, really, really know this person beyond the level of just mortal life. It's something that has been going in cycles and phases for, I'm seeing the number 12 or 12 generations. It's like it's a deep, deep wound. Remember in the beginning when I was talking about the totality of the universe all having something in common with the energy I was feeling? This is like that. Someone came in and put an energy that wasn't yours and you couldn't see, because of the actions and energies and thoughts that took place contributed to you being trapped by regret. So it was almost like, if you don't feel regret about this, you're a terrible person and you can't move forward to a new phase. You're just going to repeat the cycle of feeling bad about yourself over and over. And I don't know if you know, but when you get stuck in energies like that, in those, I'm remembering, or I'm being shown the cartoon Pirates of Dark Water, where this black water just kind of destroys everything. And then someplace called the Swamp of Sorrows. I think that's a Never-Ending Story. When you are in some way split between yourself, between your I am presence, not just your higher self, your entirety, because the higher self would apply to this dimension of, to this concept of reality, but your I am presence is you across the entire multiverse, everywhere. So if that grand aspect of you was silenced and put away through pain, what would you have to look at to reconnect yourself with your true self, and to let the human version of you that you had to be to get through that pain, to let that version of you go with the spinning of this wheel, to become compost for this new version of you? What truth do you have to admit? What regret do you have to resolve? The number 5, I think, is the Hierophant, or the, whatever, it'll come up. Look, the point is, even the bottom of the deck, Queen of Cups. It's something close to source. A regret you have that goes all the way back before you even experienced a single human life. And it has to do with the missing phase of the moon, the mother phase. Okay, fine. Okay. Anger and chains. Bottom of that is obsession. The 29 on anger and chains goes to an 11, which is a spiritual number. So it goes back to, again, something spiritual affecting your life and being a parasitic energy to you. And it's keeping itself trapped to you through your connection to source. Through some form of regret that keeps replaying in your human life that has somebody else playing the role of that parasite. This could be about yourself and a persona you take on to get through normal life, quote unquote normal, and you don't like that version of you. There's some truth to you that you're not revealing, even to yourself. You're not allowing yourself to live as that person. Six of Cups. Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck. I just felt the energy shift really vibrantly. It's such a cute little tea party with all these different beings. Whatever happened, the person, place, or thing that did it to you from a higher dimensional point of view was doing it to you to bring you to a sense of exhaustion in a loving way, so that you would notice how much guilt and regret you've carried over your life, that you have just carried because you're actually a really good person, but you don't have to feed that parasite or parasitic bond anymore. You can have a better connection. You can have a better inner dialogue. You can create a thought form that supports you and talks kindly to you. You can create your own mother energy to yourself. Nobody else has to know that you baby yourself completely. No one has to know that you are you. They're already all of themselves. Even if you think they're not, they are doing the exact same things in a different form of a different story. It's all the same water, the same light, transmitted in different ways by different people. I want to pull another one of these. Okay. You're not alone in the world. Come on. Oh, geez, Louise. Did you just see how that card flew out of my hand? And look at the moon. It's halfway. It's almost as if you're telling me, if I embrace the mother within me, then I have to be more vulnerable and I'll be able to feel more emotions, and I don't know how to handle her. Do you remember the Queen of Cups at the bottom of the deck earlier? I just saw a video on this channel called Metaphysical Anatomy, and she was talking about hirsutism. It's a condition of excessive body growth on men and women, and she was talking about the metaphysical reasons for it. One of them was having issues with the mother, where the motherly energy that you experienced was brought to you in a very masculine way. But what you needed was nurturing and comfort and, peace and nourishment. What you got is someone who is in and out of your life, being very responsible in different ways, but not to you. And you've been replaying this so much. It's become like a fantasy in your head of how things could have been and how things were. But you're stuck in that state because you're not allowing yourself to feel as joyful as you can about it. You keep holding on to that. It seems that you keep holding on to this pain like a sad teddy bear that reminds you of something that broke your heart once. If you just let it go, you move forward with this Knight of Wands energy within yourself and others and reunite with your tribe for a new cycle of life. But if you keep feeding this parasite that tells you you're all alone in the world and it's over and this and this and that, the number 6 is associated with Venus, I think, and balance between masculine and feminine energy and harmony in general. I just felt the coolest breeze go across my hand. You're as gentle as the wind, and you've made yourself so rigid. Oh. Okay, 3 more minutes. Okay. I won't cry for you. I hope not. Number 22. You know what I'm talking about. You've been hard on yourself for no reason. You can't prove that you're a good person by suffering. Sacrifice. The child I was meant to be. Wow. Wow-wee. I love when this happens in tarot. You sacrificed the child you wanted to be because you felt alone in the world, so you attached yourself to a parasitic energy within a figure in your life that you knew wasn't good for you, or a personality that you took on that you knew wasn't good for you. Sacrifice that. Look, do you see the phases of the moon from this to this to this to full moon? Sweetheart, by the time you get to the full moon, if you can just imagine yourself being held by your child, the child you were meant to be, or the child you were. If you can imagine yourself as that child holding you in its hands, watching you grow into a celestial, cosmic, universal, humanoid silhouette of yourself. Allow it to heal your etheric and astral and celestial and etc. bodies. Your etheric especially. When you're taking a shower, when you're washing your face, when you're drinking water, intend that the water cleanse you, to bring the light of you back into you. You know that you can put your consciousness in a certain part of your body and not even be aware. All you feel is a certain sense of like heaviness on one side of your body, and you don't really feel your legs or your hand at some point. Be more full of yourself. And I don't mean in an arrogant way, but in a more confident way. You are just learning and remembering and accepting and moving into this phase of your life where you are a more complete version of you. Allow the person you were to rest. The war is over. That parasite that was, nibbling off your energy, it was there because you let it. And you can just as easily let it go. Another 5. Effervescence. Cultivate love. Remember I was talking about the breeze? Look. When was the last time you sat in the grass with your bare feet and just allowed the wind to blow through your hair? When was the last time you took some piece of paper and coloring pencils and drew something for no reason? Or you started imagining what your emotions would feel like if they were like scenes of nature. If your anger was like lava, or if your, an argument was like a lightning storm, or a, when you go to bed and you lay down in your bed, it's like a field of flowers and puffy clouds or something. How can you imagine your emotions as aspects of a planet? What would that planet look like? Set personal boundaries. You're protected, but you are the one choosing and tacitly allowing things to get near you that you really wouldn't allow near you if you took better care of yourself. Pause in your journey. Let the old you, remember what I said, let the old you be the compost for the new you. Wow. Burn away the past. Write down on a piece of paper every single thing, every single thing that you have suffered through. Every single moment you cried and you thought no one would ever know how much you suffered. Write it down. Even if it's just a line expressing in that moment, or if it's a dot or a number. Write down some physical, tangible symbol of that thing you're going to sacrifice, so that the child you were meant to be, look at this, number 8 is on here, and this is usually infinity, the wheel that never stops. The child that you were meant to be is still there and will always be there. It just depends on how much you hide it in the shadows, while you allow the parasite and the parasitic energy that you've cultivated within yourself as a defense mechanism. This reminds me, I don't know if this is the new moon or the other phase where it's almost gone or whatever. God, I need to get better at this. The stars and the moons, I should know all the names in English by now. Whatever, okay? The one on the other side. You gotta let it go. That the need for knowledge, that need for judgment, and the need to find fault in others so that the faults in you, the thorns on you, don't seem as bad. But those thorns on you are there because you choose to keep them there. They don't need to be there. When others see you with thorns, they also feel like they need to put the armor on. But if you come at things as the child you were meant to be, and allow the harmony, the beauty of being alone in the world, and having an entire planet just to yourself and your inner child to go and run and have fun and do all the fantastical, wonderful, magical things. And the thing that you thought was over, that couldn't be, comes back and grows. That aspect of yourself that you thought was gone and it was never coming back. Again, another number 5. Look at that. And this is another number 8. Protection going along with the child you were meant to be. 8. 8. Let me clear this. I feel you. I feel you, and it's gonna be okay. Coming from someone in my human experience to where I've been through more than I ever want to talk about, ever. And I was exceedingly hard on myself throughout almost all of it. And over the years, I've realized it was so pointless for me to continue to suffer when I was the only one suffering. And the people around me were thriving, but I wasn't. It was because all the energy I was creating and everything that was being given to me by Source was being spent grieving, which became its own, entity of some kind of grief. My hand wasn't held through this process. I didn't have a luxurious lifestyle or any of these things. And the moment I felt such deep compassion for myself, which had to repeat for years, to where my own heart broke at how much I was suffering. It wasn't until then that the walls came down and I realized I was the only one. I was the only one still suffering. If you saw your best friend going through that, if you saw your child self being stuck in a bigger body that was almost like a Dalek from Doctor Who, and they couldn't get out of it until they loved themselves enough in some level, some mysterious way. But while they're in there, the Dalek is running around doing horrible things with its life. And the entire time, the child is still inside. Who do you think is aware of that child's suffering? Who other than you? And if you're deep down inside regretting in some way not connecting with your true self and allowing that version of you to live for a while, and you know that you want to, but you keep avoiding it because it's somehow too much, and you're unworthy. Would you tell that to the child itself, to its face? That child had a fantasy about what its life would be like. It sacrificed so much to get to where it was and where you are. It put up with so many moments of fighting throughout its entire life, and moments that have, long been forgotten, that were really happy. How much more are you going to put yourself and the people that love you through a experience of you that honestly is subpar to who you could really be by now? And I don't mean to feel regret over what you haven't done. I mean the regret you feel already is the trap. That's the gilded regret. It's such a glorious wound that you just can't seem to let it go. I've felt this energy before. I've been through this energy before. And I'm telling you from someone on the other side, it is so worthless to suffer because of someone, someplace, or something. It's pointless. When people allow love to cultivate within themselves for themselves, and all versions of yourself, your shadow self and your light self, because let's face it, everything in your reality is a reflection of you. So even the devils you think are around, they're reflections of you. It's all a mind game. And these mind games you've been playing within this mind game to keep yourself all sorts of backwards and waffled into certain boxes aren't working anymore. It's almost like you're regretting the habitual things you do, the routine you have, but you keep doing it. And then you're like, oh, I'll change tomorrow. I was feeling this the last 3 days. I kept thinking I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna have breakfast and I'm gonna exercise and I'm gonna, do this and then have a cup of tea. No, I've woken up the past 3 days intently having the most delicious cup of coffee and cinnamon and danishes. Be aware of it. Be aware of how you sabotage yourself. And laugh at it. You're your own worst enemy, and you already know this. So stop feeding parasitic energy. Stop with the fear-mongering and blame of exes or partners and mothers, or how masculine your life was, or how feminine your life was, or whatever. Like, your body, even any diseases you might have, any entities that might be attached to you or parasites, they're all showing you what you have to heal. They're not trying to eat you, really. Well, they kind of do. But they're eating the death in you. Think about it. When you're gardening and you're creating compost, a butterfly isn't going to go and break that compost down for you. It's going to be some nasty looking slug or a beetle or like wasps and shit. Sorry. So do yourself a favor. Let what is rotten go. Because you could have so much new growth, even with the people that hurt you, or that you hurt and you feel regret over. Like, you've created such a problem, such a monster out of something that could have easily been resolved. Easily. That parasitic energy, the first card that came out, could have been instantly acknowledged if you had been more, and don't take this the wrong way, if you had been more authentic to your higher self. Get it? You've been behaving in a human way. I just heard, how's that working out for you? But really, it's time to level up. You're allowed to be more than human. You're allowed to acknowledge a parasite and simply be rid of it. Will it away. You're allowed to realize where you've been unfair and treated people in a really terrible way. You can acknowledge that and forgive yourself for it. Because again, nobody knows how much you're suffering but you. Other people just feel your energy. And it feels like there's more tears in the water that you're swimming in than there is clean water. That's all I'm going to say about it. The sun, thank you. Allow your inner children to play. I really give very little importance to, male or female lately. But you have, oh, that's weird. You have an inner baby boy and an inner baby girl, whether you're transgender or not. Your body, remember in the beginning I was telling you about metaphysical anatomy. Your body will adjust in different ways depending on your environment. If you're missing nourishment, you're going to grow a lot of body hair. If you're missing maternal care, you're going to be, flooded with testosterone more, because you're going to be making up for that through masculine go-do-it energy. You're not going to be passive if your parent is too masculine. You're going to be like them, because every time you act passive in front of them and you show them that feminine, nourishing, gravitational, life-giving, creative force, they'd be like, what are you doing? Don't do that. Quiet. Go to your corner. Go to your room. I don't want to deal with it. Can you stop being so much? Do you need to be so dramatic all the time? That is what you put up with. And that's what you've been echoing outwards, because that energy has become a parasite. It's got you going down the same neural network, doing the same thing over and over in all the rays and expressions of your personality. To put it bluntly, you've been acting like a douchebag because you've been hurt. And if you put your guard down, you'll see that in the outside world, despite what's happening in your time and what's happening in your life, despite the chaos you may see and how the world might be upside down, it's actually really beautiful. Eight of Cups. Knight of Pentacles. Leaving a bunch of stuff behind that you thought you wanted. Oh, I'm hearing Nelly Furtado. Wow. Oh, geez. And then I see you standing there, wanting more from me. And all I can do is try. That's the line I'm hearing. Yeah, I don't hear any other line in it. Oh, it's just over and over that line. Four of Wands. And the High Priestess. Ooh. Kind of glad to see the High Priestess here. So you have the Seven of Wands, the Sun, Eight of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, Four of Wands, and the High Priestess. It's in the Tower at the bottom of the deck. I don't know when this is going to cut off, but we're going to keep going. Now, I can tell you right off the bat. What a weird expression. Why would I say that? Wow. Okay. You're leaving behind a version of life you thought you had designed for you, like the lines in that song. And you're moving towards something else. You have the Ace of Pentacles. You've learned how to be a knight within your being, or a more noble and dignified version. You hold yourself up in a more elegant way. and you're headed towards what you want, a stable environment within yourself. You can see it clearly. You know the path to walk is the middle path of beauty and wisdom, not of just, all the things you can put in categories of the left versus the right. You're done with that divide. You found the peace in between. You found the neutral ground where you realize neutrality is actually unconditional love, which encompasses everything. You're aware of all of it, the good and the evil. You know what's right, you know what's wrong, you know what's truth, you know what a lie is. You're aware of, the patterns in history and the phases and the hearts of humanity and all those other beings. You're aware of all of it. You see the story behind the story while it's being written by the hands of the author. You can see that far. So what is it that you want to do with this, right? Why avoid this deep knowing inside of you? Why move so slowly towards your own self-improvement? Why look at something for so long that you want to do? Someone you want to bring something to. Look, how beautiful, with the sun on top of the Four of Wands. The Knight of Wands. Oh, that's better. The Knight of Wands, wanting peace and stability. The Knight of Pentacles. Wow, why did I say the Knight of Wands again? With the High Priestess. So, man, the parasitic energy of that Knight of Wands imagery, I can feel it. It's like this annoyingly charming aspect of someone. It's like, oh, come on, you know what you want to. I'm tuning into it and it feels so... Oh, there's cross watchers. And I don't mean in a romantic way. I see the threads connecting you, like many of you, with people that are also watching this channel that know each other. How weird. Some of you have connections and threads going off of you that aren't healthy. And it would really benefit you to have an energetic clearing session for yourself. You can do it yourself. Just visualize a pillar of white light spinning from your heart in a clockwise direction. And you're just covering yourself in this golden light. Visualize that for as long as you can. Just over and over. It doesn't matter if you fail at it. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to do it. Just try. And if you can't see with your inner eye, then feel what it would feel like to be covered in the color of gold, silver, pink, violet, not really white, but like a pearly mother of pearl white, where it has all the colors shifting through it. Just try with it. Bring your energy into the physical world. Manifest the things you want to manifest. The peace and the home that you want. Bring it into reality. But first, walk away from look at that full moon. Remember the phases of the moon earlier? Walk away from the mother figure you thought you needed. You knew better than they did, and they didn't listen. You can't blame them. They were doing the best that they could, whether they admit it or not. No matter how many mistakes they made, no matter how many times they let you down, they did it because they love you on a divine level. Their human self was a script. It was a scroll. It was a story they were all playing out. Don't regret it. Don't blame them. Just make peace. Unblock that wall. Send your energy and join with those 6 others that you care about. Like, there's all that stuff you went through with these people, but you're just blocking it all off with these different versions of you, your shadow selves, the things you want to do, your ambitions, your hopes, your hobbies, your literal dreams that you sit there thinking about, and you know, the sensations that you feel within your body, where you get these creative spurts to do something and you're feeling so peaceful. Oh goodness, I'm seeing this field where you're sitting in the grass and you're looking up and you can hear these, like, this eagle almost, or maybe it's a falcon, and you're just having the most wonderful day, but it feels like there's such a sensation of your heart trembling with sadness, like you're about to cry. And it has a distinct, synesthesia. It has a distinct feeling of a regret that has to do with true connection with someone. I want to say love, but I don't want to put this in a love way. It just feels like there's a like a pearl of wisdom inside you that you're not acknowledging. I can see it clearly as a pearl. It's like it'll be the retriever in the fairies. Where is it? Where are you? I'm seeing it'll be the retriever. There's something inside you that you want to express, that you know, that you learned about, and you're not telling anybody or even letting yourself live it. Please stop punishing yourself. Himself. Again, the number 8. You can take what's in your mind. You can take that spiritual connection you have, the energy you feel, the sensations you're able to manifest in yourself, the heartfelt connection that... What was I just saying about birds? What did I... Wow. The connection you feel in your heart for... Oh, that makes so much more sense. It's a version of yourself that you become when you're around someone else. You block that off from the lower version of yourself, the human self. You almost behaved in a way where you threw out the baby with the bathwater. You took something that made your heart light up and you blocked yourself off from it. But inside, all you want is to be that version of you that... I don't want to say it was happier, because you right now you're extremely happy. You just don't see it because you're seeing with that parasitic eye. Your spiritual eye is blocked, basically. So these moments you're experiencing are extremely happy, and I hope you realize that. This version of you that you walked away from, there's still something in that you want to let out and build with. I'm seeing the Star of David, or the 2 triangles that are like up and then there are other ones down. The male and female coming together, like a portal opening, honestly. It's almost as if you're going on a journey of, like, you're walking as your true self now. You're not pretending to be less than or putting on a face for people because of what happened to you. You're allowing what happened to you to be burned away. Remember I asked you earlier to write down all that stuff. Burn it away. Burn away the past. When I'm doing these card readings, the information I get, it's like water and lightning and all the colors mixed together, and then song and words, and feelings. It's like all my senses mixed and intertwined. So sometimes I forget, or I go down a path that I don't give you the end result of the first path I was on, because it branches off into another path, which then comes back to the original point. There is a reason for that, and I don't do it on purpose. It's source and, you know, spirit speaking through me, and I don't mean a ghost or anything like that. I mean that my source self, a part of me that's connected to source and all of you. I just see things from a different point of view than you. I can see you from the outside of you. It's like the outside of the storm. I can be there with a aspect of stability to see what's going on. And since I've been through it, I can tell you how to navigate through your storm. But at the same time, if I hold your hand and guide you to the version of you that you want to be, then you need to be aware that you have pain that you're not paying attention to. You know, both these cards are looking off into the distance in the same direction. Well, she's looking up, this one's looking down. You've been punishing yourself for so long, keeping yourself from the light within you and blaming yourself for something that happened that you weren't fulfilled with. And if you would just allow yourself to realize that the two wands from two different people, or one wand from four different people, or all the four that are yours that you're building your own stability with, those people felt things too. Whether they were NPCs or ghosts or figments of your imagination, at some point they experienced emotional connection with you, and you with them. There was a unity, a companionship. 3, teamwork. Multiple things coming together to create a stable foundation, guided by divinity. If I'm going to give this a very simple, basic meaning, there's an offer coming towards you or from you towards someone that they already know about regarding building on top of an already established foundation of self-love, self-care, self-respect, and dignity, and then the betterment of each other together, to where two people come together with an inner knowing and a deep connection to their own source, having let go of their baggage and their past and walked away towards something better. And this could be walking back towards the past of someone in the past, someone that brought a sense of family to you, a sense of home within yourself. There was another video I saw the other day regarding home and the earth chakra. I think it was on alchemy and you. Heart is the home. I don't know. Maybe I dreamt it. It's the same message coming through the entire reading. It's like an hour and 5 minutes. And Tabira of the Waters, let your pain flow away from you like water in your hands. Just let it be. There's so much more in the world for you to experience, and this connection that you could have if you'd simply allow yourself out of the cage you built for yourself. This connection, and I'm going to let the next card tell you what this next connection is, because I feel it and see it so clearly. I don't see the faces of you guys, but I feel the connection that comes from your heart. It's like Where I feel it in my chest is kind of in between where the rib cage, oh sorry, you can't see, where the rib cages go like that way. Wait, right there. Like just below that point. It feels like a puzzle piece wanting to connect with another puzzle piece and make that click sound. Like a like a kinetic connection. Infinite possibilities. You are being asked to create the next steps of your future with someone other than just yourself. You've gone as far as you can go by yourself, but you cannot continue into a more unity type of consciousness until you let go of mortal concerns. You are beyond mortal. It has nothing to do with you. And it's time you master yourself and do better than what you're doing. Even if it's eating an extra piece of fruit a day or spending 5 more minutes in the sun. Expand your limitations that are self-imposed by an aspect of yourself that has created its own form of treating you due to the massive amounts of energy and fear and sadness and regret that you have fed this thought form you have created within your own reality. And here is the mother. Oh, the fawn. Wow, I thought it was she of the Krua. Number 8. Again, your inner child, remember? The child you were meant to be is your best friend, your patronus, your guiding spirit, your conscience, your Jiminy Cricket. Oh my God, look. Look. What was I saying? Remember? The pearl right by the heart? And I was saying it'll be the retriever. Look, it's right here. Where's my cookie? Fairy godmother beneath that. And the sage. Yeah, feline underneath that. You have unfinished business, my dear. You need to communicate. What you're doing has become pointless, self-loathing punishment to where you're basically showing the world that you're an a-hole so that they won't expect you to be the real you. The you that you know that you won't allow yourself to be. It's like somebody having the inner personality of a That's so much better. It's like Posh Spice pretending to be Baby Spice, but inside she's really Posh Spice. Or Sporty Spice pretending to be Ginger Spice, and Ginger Spice is pretending to be Posh Spice. It just doesn't fit. What you've been doing to the way you handle your life has been to show you how to unblock that. Like how I just felt this part of my head tremble. The masculine side of the body that takes and brings and pushes and leads and is integrity filled. If you could just put words on an energy so pure, it would diminish it. You feel it, and attempting to put a word to what you feel makes it less than. There is something deep down, look, priestess and the sage right here. Well, I guess you can't see that, but he is right here. I'm just gonna over here, right there, right there. You know that this pointless grudge has to go. because the only person still maintaining that grudge is you. And the only reason why your spirit team has been having you maintain that grudge, or showing you that it's still there and asking you to get rid of it, is to show you that it's not who you are, it's who you were. And who you are now and who you were can still exist happily under the same sun, but not driving your body. You have to be the mother to yourself and lead yourself with a mother voice inside you that speaks to you with kindness, with home and nourishment and comfort and creativity and insight and intuition and encouragement and strength, and a structure that is built in a gloriously, carefully caressing Kara? I don't know what I'm picking up on right now. It's a I'm seeing like the entire alphabet flood through my head right now, and repeatedly in all different areas. Like it's just raining down the alphabet. Okay, anyway, I'm seeing the words flash in my mind on a movie screen, like movie theater announcement. You know how they have like playing tonight, Reba McEntire or something, or with some whatever the signs are, right, on theaters. It's like one of those, but on it says talk to blank. It's like a bunch of words that keep skipping the same spot, so it's probably a message to a bunch of you to talk to somebody, including yourself. And the next words, it's like the name of a Western movie, Before the Sunset Rises. I don't know what that means, but I'm seeing it, like words on a movie screen. Before the sunset rises. Compelling compassion. Whatever that means to you, okay? In between, oh wow, the sun, the moon, and this moment of catharsis, almost like a healing crying session, and you pick yourself up back by the bootstraps and do better and better, and you realize that you're whole and complete and everything's fine and beautiful, and you can be who you are and walk with that dignity and wisdom and grace, and no one's really gonna give a shit because they're busy with their own lives, so it's safe to be you. Like, do you see how it can go micro and macro, make things really simple and really complex, but it's all pointing at the same thing? How the story can go all around the lightning tree branch, or, wow, the tree made of lightning with all the arcing branches. But the message that it gives you is that there's a tree you're not acknowledging. You're running around the tree, but you're not paying attention that there's a tree. You're like, yeah, I know it's there. It's the tree of life. It's the glory of who I am. So what? I'm just going to pretend to be human and carry all this, other people's energy and be okay with it. Like, you don't want that. Give their energy back to them. Notice within yourself how oh wow, I just saw an extraterrestrial living on the planet and having the ability to shapeshift. And they shapeshifted into a human to fit in better. And when they did this, they spent so long living, like I'm seeing all the seasons go by really, really quick. and people changing and evolving, and societies falling, cities forming, and all this, and this person, this alien, never shifted back into their true state, and they forgot that they were alien, and they're living by the human rules of reality, which are written by men in robes and suits, not by gods or God. The words written by God, they're written in your heart. They're in your inner knowing, in your entire being. But if the connections and the traditions and the way that you behave in life to others, the way others see you, is a false image, a false prophet of yourself, of the God within you, then which eye are you seeing through while you stand between the pillars? Which book are you holding? And in who are you putting your energy into? Do you really think that the source of all creation is spending a undefinable amount of time worried about anything? It's all some form of story, some routine, a tradition, a regimen, a structure of a building that doesn't hold the glory of the building anymore. A shadow of the self, a falsified version of the self. The magician. Look at the masculinity in this. It's like it's like the epitome of, oh my goodness, the last few hundred years. It's this way and that way. It's this element with that element. It's fire versus water. It's earth and air. It's, another old man. Wow. We had mother, maid, and crone. Now we have father, son, sage. How interesting. And the hermit is pointing the way, as if the Hierophant is doing it wrong, the magician is doing it wrong, and the hermit knows that he did it wrong too, so he's pointing the way to the other ones, for them to go another way. And if you look at the magician, again, the Eight of Cups. Wow. Yeah, don't go that way. Look at this. It's backwards for you. He's pointing the way. He's like, you don't have to leave all that behind. There was real love there. There was real connections there. You don't have to leave that goodness behind. You just need to leave behind the aspects of you that continuously justify terrible behavior being broadcast to your immediate circle, your structure, your way of living. The way you were living was based on a version of you that was based in a version of you that was in pain. Because remember, you're dualistic, you're light and dark, you're all of it. So what you are now, right now in this very moment, is the culmination of everything you've ever been. And if you keep moving forward and leaving behind, remember the card, the compost card? Leaving behind your shells over and over. The answer is you shouldn't constantly give everything up. You must learn to be discerning on the energies within you and around you, Because some of those energies are based in lies that have been spread for so long that those lies seem to be truth being spread across an entire cosmos. It's like two suns going around a bunch of planets, spinning in a galaxy. Where is it? Right here. The youth have led, the aged have led, the children have led. Everyone's done it in their own way, and everyone's tried to get into the way of other people and try to lead each other. And the Hermit's telling you, none of those are the way. Lead yourself. Walk away from having to walk away from everything and walk towards yourself and accept that within you is a part of you that you really cared about, that you've walked away. Because the immediate environment, traditions, dogmas, religions, forms of mentality that have been ingrained, a connection to God that wasn't really to God. It was a version of God that you were told to believe in. But the real version of God is the God you know within you that nobody ever had to tell you was there. And you've been attempting to bring about things into your reality that could be brought to your reality in a more high vibrational way. But in order for that to happen, you must be aware that some of the things you wanted were because you were lacking a maternal energy in your life that was within you, not because of your physical mother. She was the reflection of what was going on within you. What was going on within you was being reflected through her actions. When you weren't there, she was a completely different person. And this could be about your grandmother, your aunt, your sister, your girlfriend, your wife, your female side, the goddess perception that you have. It depends on how your spirit guides are speaking to you. One more, please. Again, double confirmation, 4 of Wands. Ooh, the devil at the bottom of the deck. Page of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, Queen of Swords, the Moon, 10 of Pentacles, and Temperance. I was looking for that Temperance card. And 7 of Swords. Okay. So, I can break this down real quick. You know that shadow side of you that you avoid? The one that society has made you think is bad? That bitch, that asshole, excuse my French. It's not even French. But you know what I mean. That version of you that's a little stuck up, that's a little arrogant and overly confident. That version of you that tramples over people and doesn't really care. That version of you that is really sexual and enjoys being intoxicated in some way. That you enjoy being promiscuous and you enjoy the structure of dominion in some way. Think about this in a Saturnian energy exonified in a human form. Are you listening? There is a version of you within you that is your shadow self, the devil within you, or what you think is you, because the real you haven't fully allowed to be revealed yet. You're just going into that cave where you're realizing that cave had your name on it, and inside of it was who you are. You spent all this time doing things in a masculine way, forcing reality at your will, forcing it to do things, manipulating, manifesting, sending intentions here and there, both good or bad, irrelevant. You were doing that, but you were doing it from a place of What's the point? What's the point? It's just another cup. It's just another love story. It's just another, bad romance. Lady Gaga. Wow. Yeah. The point is, without that connection within you, without that feeling of home, do you remember? Okay, I'm getting two different messages. Guys, one at a time. Source, clear, ground, calm, clarify, please. You know, when you're with someone and there's that moment of time where it seems like there's no time, where it's just you and that person and you're so close to each other that you feel their heartbeat next to yours, where it's almost like you're touching skin to skin and you can feel their heartbeat syncing up with your heartbeat, and you feel each other's warmth, you feel the love, you feel the complete vulnerable authenticity of being yourself, being held, and you're home and you're safe. There's no human worry, there is no godly worry, there is no official state, something, there's no narrative, there's none of that. It's just a moment in between heaven and hell where it's just you and this person. And there's this balance, a home, a structure that's based on a vibration of love that you can't even call love. It's deeper than that. It's just peace, it's stillness, it's your souls dancing together. If you can tap into that without anybody near you, then you unblock the blockage of energy from your sacral chakra, your solar plexus, and your root to your heart, your third eye, and your crown. In doing so, you realize that these 8 cups are 8 chakras, and there's one that you haven't been paying attention to, and 2 more that you have yet to find. And that if you would analyze your physical structure, your body, your home, your materials, your closets, your thoughts, your imagination, you would realize that feeling of home you felt is behind the shadow self that you run from. That version of you, that sensual, passionate, controlling, not in a bad way, dominant, fierce and powerful and honest and enjoying the pleasures of life, that version of you needs this version of you to make peace with this version of you that was influenced by that version of you. Once you come into peace with the devil within you, you realize that that devil within you is also your best friend. It's the aspect of you that holds the other pearl, that holds the balance, that can see with the other eye that you can't see through because there has been a parasitic energy within that part of you. So that shadow side of you that you hide from is the one that keeps piercing and poking at you to do better. It sabotages your life in petty ways so that you realize how far beyond pettiness you really are. And then it's just getting your attention because it wants to elevate you and go with you, because it's your best friend, and underneath that mask of your best friend, you'll realize that that devil within you is actually your inner child playing a role. And once you come into acceptance of that, there is a stillness within you, a reset, where you let who you were go to be who you really are now. A more complete version of yourself. This time, a little hornier. Naughty reading. Wow, again, feline on the bottom of the deck. You have unfinished business, and it really does involve somebody else in this case. You know what you need to do within you, and you know how you've been petty and how you haven't allowed yourself to be a king or a queen. You haven't paid attention to the masculine side of you, and the masculine side of you is trying to get your attention, but you're chasing it in other people, not in yourself. You have to be your own best friend, your own boyfriend, and your own husband, your own father, and your own mother. You must be your own wise sage and your own guide and your own God. Because God itself wants nothing less than that for you. Source didn't create you to suffer. It didn't create you to be poor. It did not create you to be betrayed and to be hurt and to have loss and, all of that. All those things happen to fill your treasure chest. Because everything that happened to you was to show you that you don't want that in your life, to stop doing the things that create that, to stop attracting it and to stop fearing it. And instead to realize if you're afraid of poverty, you're really capable of creating money. That's why you're afraid of losing money, because you know you can make so much of it. And you would think that you're afraid of, who would be afraid of losing money if they're making so much of it? The people making it, because they work really hard for it. You have a bad perception of reality because of a parasitic energy that was put to you through traditions older than you, physically. There has been a kingdom going on before you were a citizen of this world. And there's things happening that you haven't been aware of. And you followed the sheeple. And that's okay. It was okay. But now you gotta not be a sheeple. You gotta act like a king or queen within yourself. You're not sheeple. And the sheeple are waking up too. So if you're gonna be a sheeple, you're gonna be the last one. Hold on. Oh. 10 of Pentacles. The Tree of Life. Planet. Your etheric connections, the ley lines, chakras, legacies, ancestors, spirit guides, and the things that you bring into manifestation through the archway of your inner eye. So,